My dear friend, come sit here with me. I want to talk to you about something very special that I've been observing over the years. Have you ever noticed how some women our age seem to radiate a different kind of light? They walk into a room and simply transform the space with their presence. It's not just about appearance, it's something much deeper, a genuine confidence that comes from within. Today, I want to share with you the 5 behaviors I've discovered to be characteristic of these extraordinary women. And you know what's most beautiful? Each of these qualities already exists within you, just waiting to be recognized and cultivated. The first behavior, they speak to themselves with kindness. The first behavior that marks these confident women is the way they talk to themselves. Have you ever stopped to listen to your inner voice, that little voice that's always commenting on everything we do? Well, truly confident women have transformed that voice into a friend, not a harsh critic. Louise Hay, who dedicated her life to teaching about the power of self-love, always said that the most important relationship we have is with ourselves. And she was right. When I observe these special women, I notice they don't berate themselves when they make a mistake. They don't call themselves stupid or old fool when they forget something. Instead, they treat themselves with the same kindness they would offer to a dear friend. Imagine if you had a friend who always spoke badly about you, who always found flaws in everything you do. Would you maintain that friendship? Of course not. So why do we allow our minds to do this to us? Confident women have learned to be their own best friends. When they look in the mirror, they don't just see wrinkles or grey hair. They see the wisdom etched in every line of their face. They see the stories their eyes tell. They see the strength they carry in their shoulders. They speak to themselves as they would speak to someone beloved. You did your best today. You are brave. You deserve good things. This doesn't mean they live in a fantasy world, ignoring their areas for improvement. No, dear. They simply chose to be gentle with themselves in the process of growth. As Carl Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. And these women apply this wisdom first to themselves with compassion and patience. The second behavior, they set boundaries with firmness and love. The second behavior that fascinates me about these women is how they establish boundaries. You know what I'm talking about, don't you? That ability to say no without feeling guilty, to protect their time and energy as if they were precious treasures, because they truly are. Many of us were raised to please, to always put others' needs before our own. We were taught that being a good woman meant sacrificing ourselves infinitely for others. But confident women have discovered a liberating truth. Setting boundaries isn't selfishness, it's self-love. Brené Brown, in her research on vulnerability and courage, discovered something surprising. The most compassionate people are those who set clear boundaries. They can be generous because they know exactly what they can and cannot give. It's like having a well-tended garden. You need a fence not to exclude the world, but to protect what's growing inside. These women have learned to say, I would love to help, but I can't do that right now. Or, that doesn't work for me, without over-justifying themselves. They understand that every yes to something we don't want to do is a no to something that really matters to us. And you know what's most beautiful? They set these boundaries with love, not anger. They don't need to shout or fight to be respected. They simply respect themselves first, and this teaches others to do the same. Like a tree that doesn't apologize for growing toward the sun, they don't apologize for protecting their well-being. The third behavior, they celebrate small daily victories. The third behavior that delights me is how these women celebrate life every day. They don't wait for big occasions to feel proud of themselves. They find joy in small daily accomplishments. Did they finish reading a book they were devouring? They celebrate. Did they take a walk even when they didn't feel like it? They celebrate. Did they prepare a delicious meal? They celebrate. Did they have a meaningful conversation with a friend? They celebrate. For them, life is a collection of precious small moments, not a wait for the next big achievement. This reminds me of the wisdom of Clarissa Pinkola Estes, who tells us about the importance of nurturing our wild soul. She says that wise women know that joy is not a luxury, but a necessity. These confident women understand this deeply. They don't minimize their achievements by saying, "Oh, it was nothing." They know that every step matters, every effort has value. When someone compliments them, they don't look away, embarrassed. They look in their eyes and say, "Thank you," with a genuine smile, because they've learned to receive love and recognition. It's as if they have an inner collection of little golden stars, one for each moment they chose self-love, courage, kindness. And when days get difficult, they can look at this collection and remember how capable and valuable they are. The fourth behavior, they cultivate authentic relationships. The fourth behavior I observe is how these women relate to others. They don't try to be someone they're not to please or impress. They show themselves authentically, vulnerable when necessary, and this creates deep and true connections. You know that feeling of being in a conversation where you can be completely yourself, where you don't need to pretend, perform, or hide parts of who you are. These women create this space wherever they go because they themselves inhabit this place of authenticity. They're not afraid to show their imperfections. If they don't know something, they admit it. If they make a mistake, they acknowledge it. If they're going through a difficult time, they share when appropriate. This honesty doesn't make them weak. On the contrary, it makes them magnetic. People feel safe beside them because they know there's no judgment, only acceptance. Carl Jung taught us that we can only be whole when we integrate all parts of ourselves, both light and shadow. These confident women have done this inner work. They don't deny their struggles or pretend to be perfect. They've embraced their complete humanity, and this frees them to truly connect with others. In relationships, they don't compete, they celebrate. When a friend has an achievement, they genuinely rejoice. When someone needs support, they offer presence, not unsolicited advice. They understand that life is not a competition, but a collective dance where each person has their own music. The fifth behavior, they make choices based on their values. The fifth and final behavior I want to share with you is perhaps the most powerful. These women make choices based on their own values, not on others' expectations. They know who they are and what truly matters to them. Over the years, they've developed a very clear internal compass. When they need to make a decision, they don't ask themselves, "What will others think?" or "What is expected of me?" They ask themselves, "Is this aligned with who I am? And will this bring me closer to the person I want to be?" This doesn't mean they're selfish or that they don't consider others. It means they understand that we can only truly contribute to the world when we're living in harmony with our essence. As Louise Hay said, when you love yourself, you attract love. When you respect yourself, you attract respect. These women may have spent decades putting others' dreams ahead of their own. They may have been dedicated mothers, caring wives, obedient daughters. But at some point, they awakened to the liberating truth. They matter too. Their dreams also have value. Their needs also deserve attention. And you know what happens when a woman starts living according to her values? She becomes an inspiration to everyone around her. Her children learn that it's possible to be authentic. Her friends feel encouraged to pursue their own dreams. She becomes a living example that it's never too late to be who we really are. Dear friend, as we talk about these 5 behaviors, perhaps you're thinking, "This seems so distant from my reality." Perhaps you're questioning whether it's possible to change patterns you've carried for decades. Let me tell you something with all the tenderness in the world. It is possible, yes. I'm not talking about an overnight transformation. I'm talking about small steps, daily choices, moments of kindness toward yourself. Every time you choose to speak to yourself with love instead of criticism, you're planting a seed of confidence. Every time you establish a healthy boundary, you're watering that seed. Every time you celebrate a small victory, you're allowing it to grow. Remember that you've already been through so many things in life. You've survived challenges that seemed impossible. You've created, loved, lost, started over. You have within you a strength that you may not even fully recognize. This strength is your foundation of confidence. It has always been there, waiting to be recognized and honored. So, my dear, how about we start today? It doesn't need to be anything grand. How about we begin with the first behavior? The next time you look in the mirror, instead of focusing on what you don't like, how about saying something kind to yourself? It can be simple. Good morning, dear, or you are brave, or your eyes are beautiful. It might seem silly at first, but remember, you've trained for decades to speak to yourself in one way. Now it's time to train a new way. And like any new skill, it gets easier with practice. This is your golden time, my friend. This is the time to reap the fruits of all the wisdom you've accumulated, all the experience you've lived. You don't need to prove anything to anyone anymore. You don't need to fit into molds that others created for you anymore. You can finally be completely yourself. The most confident women I know aren't those who never doubted themselves. They're those who, despite their doubts, chose to love and value themselves. They're those who transformed their scars into wisdom, their fears into courage, their mistakes into learning. You are one of these women. You may not know it completely yet, but I see it in you. I see the strength in your eyes, the wisdom in your smile, the courage in the way you keep trying. You are more powerful than you imagine, more valuable than you believe, more loved than you feel. So take a deep breath, my dear friend. Embrace this incredible woman that you are. Embrace your journey with all its curves and surprises. Embrace your future, full of possibilities yet to be discovered. You deserve all the confidence, all the love, all the joy that life can offer. And remember, you're not alone on this journey. Every woman who chooses to love and value herself is contributing to a more loving and compassionate world. You're part of an invisible sisterhood of brave women who chose to live with authenticity and confidence. May this conversation be just the beginning of a new way of relating to yourself. May you wake up each morning with a little more self-love. May you treat yourself with the kindness you've always offered to others. May you celebrate your own existence as the precious gift that it is. You are loved, you are valuable, you are enough, exactly as you are, in this moment, in this place. Carry this truth in your heart and let it transform not only your life, but the lives of all who are fortunate enough to know you.